With our service as a development partner, we turn the club around from a difficult financial position into a brand new club facility with a clean balance sheet, with a couple of passive income sources that are really going to put the club forward.
So I'm here with Jim Hunter from Capital Corporation. Good to see you, mate.
Good to see you.
And so we're here at the Bondi Junction RSL Club, talking a bit about the partnership between your organisations. Do you want to kick us off with a bit of background on how the partnership started?
Yeah, of course. So you met Bill Harrigan, Club President, here this morning. What a great guy.
Absolute ripper.
So we first got involved with Bill sort of back in 2016, 2017, and it started just with an introduction and a cup of coffee, as how most great projects start. And sort of over the years, we sort of really developed a great bond with Bill and the board and the team here to really understand what their vision was for the site. And after a competitive process, working with Bill and the team, we were very fortunate enough to be selected as their development partner here. Fast forward, we worked with the club hand in glove on a DA package that we thought was going to be acceptable, which resulted in 80 luxury apartments set above a two-level club facility here, which is the new Club Bondi Junction RSL. The approval process took quite a while with Waverley Council and a few challenges there. And then we ran straight into, what was COVID-19. So we really pushed through on what was a difficult time for developers, with sales and in supply lines. But at the end of the day, we ended up with a fantastic result of 80 luxury apartments and this beautiful club facility that we're here today.
And I know you guys really specialise in these types of partnerships. What do you think makes a great partnership between a not-for-profit organisation and then a developer like Capital Corp?
Yeah, great question. The first thing is really understanding your partner's needs. We take so much time to really understand what they're after. What are the key drivers that they need to move forward? We look at ourselves as a partner for life as well. So, just because we complete a project doesn't mean we stop being involved with our partners. And that means doing everything you can, whether it's helping them with their strategies, it's writing, new business papers, or looking at the fundamentals of what's going to make this a successful club into the future. It certainly doesn't stop with just the residential apartments above. And so Bill has done an amazing job in terms of what the club's been able to do. And, with our service as a development partner, we turn the club around from a difficult financial position into, a brand new club facility with a clean balance sheet, with a couple of passive income sources that are really going to put the club forward, hopefully, in my opinion, forever. So,
and tell me, so obviously it was like an incredibly challenging time in terms of what was going on with COVID and whatnot. What were some of the challenging parts that you guys were able to draw on your experience to address those kind of challenges?
It was certainly unprecedented times, all through COVID, trying to sell off the plan apartments with no sales display centre. It's near impossible in terms of, the requirements that go involved in terms of actually getting people to touch and feel a product when no one's allowed to leave their home.
Yeah.
It was very challenging and we had to adapt a lot. Like a lot of great developers, we lean more heavily into the digital space, making sure that people could still get a real sense of what a completed product will look like, even though they're now viewing it on their screen and they're not able to come and touch it in person. And then we rolled through straight to the construction period. And, at the back of COVID, we had the massive escalation that ripped through the construction industry. And so, builders were finding it very tough. We partnered with a great builder in Westbourne Constructions, and we really worked with them through a very difficult time. We really tried to identify sort of key trades and where they were going to be, felt the pinch points. And we tried to navigate that as much as possible in terms of, forward ordering, making sure we have materials on site, and even labour. Got down to the point of, us calling around looking for key labour sources as well, because, our project needed to proceed. And even though, the industry as a whole was really suffering, how can we make sure that the bond didn't suffer? And so, I was really getting to the detail and working with your partners to get it done.
Yeah, I guess it's like when those times, it's all good when the going's good, right? And it's easy to run these, easier to run large scale projects when everything's going smoothly. But I think, we all earn our crusts when the going's tough. What kind of things did Bill and the team do that made it easy for you guys to kind of execute during that period? Because I'm sure that they wouldn't have had a ton of experience in property development and uncertainty. How'd you manage that? And what did they do?
Bill is a fantastic listener and accepting of all the information. So Bill was able to handle, very complex issues that we were dealing with at the time. COVID was an unprecedented time. We hadn't seen it before. And so we were sort of learning on the fly. Bill and the board were certainly understanding of that, and they didn't apply any additional pressure to us. So understanding that some issues, we're going to have some delays. They were inevitable. Communicating that with Bill and the team just made it so much easier from our point of view, because we are totally aligned with our partner. We want to deliver a great product. We want to deliver financial returns that, exceed expectations, and we want to do them on time and on budget. But when you've got escalation running through, the construction industry, and you've got delays happening due to COVID-19, those are forces out of your control. But working with Bill, understanding those issues just made our job so much easier, so that when we had a tough decision to make, we were both on the same page. So when we said, look, Bill, we need to push hard now, he was all for it. And when we said, Bill, look, we need to delay because of these factors, he was understanding of that as well. So, communication was really open throughout that entire process.
Yeah, actually, when I spoke to Bill, one of the things that he said was one of the strengths of the partnership was the communication side and just the frequency and consistency of that. How do you think about that communication piece, especially when there's kind of a bit of information asymmetry where you guys have done a lot of these sorts of partnerships and projects before? And for most organizations, maybe they've done one or two before, but certainly it's newer for them.
Yeah. There's a lot of extra issues that come along when you're a partner. Like we're not accountable to ourselves, we're accountable to ourselves and our partner. And so communication almost needs to double. Bill to this day can call me any day of the week, Monday to Sunday, it doesn't matter. And I pick up the phone call and it doesn't matter what the issue is. It might be a small accounting issue, or it might be a maintenance issue, or it might be there, looking at, renewing a lease and can we help out? So, from us, we really take on that partnership approach. When you're a partner of Capital Corporation, you're a partner for life. And it doesn't matter how big or small the problem is, we are there, we're by your side, and we'll be there to help out.
And so for organizations, whether, RSL type clubs or churches or any other type of non-for-profit organizations that are kind of thinking about a project like this, how do they start that, and what types of things do you think they should consider?
They've got to really get an understanding of what they want, in terms of what are their KPIs, what's their wish list. Property is a great tool to sort of unlock the future. And that's sort of where we see ourselves play. We deal with a lot of non-for-profit clients and we really work with them on what their issues are, but what are they trying to achieve in the future? And so when we can get a key understanding of that, we can wrap a property solution around that and really unlock the future, whether that's additional apartments they want to own or new facilities they want to own or additional car parking. It actually doesn't matter. We're able to work with our partners and really unlock the future for them and wrap a property solution around a business problem. So, if there are business issues or there's, business problems they need to solve, what we do is we come across with a property solution that looks to unpack that.
Awesome, Jim. Well, congratulations on a great project. It was awesome to have the chance to have a look around, and some of you guys can be proud of. So congratulations.
Absolutely. Thank you, mate. Cheers.